Remember, ladies and gentlemen, when you see the massive, heaving bosoms that I have presented you with, that's a reminder that it's time for you to subscribe to the Savage Sacktap and all of my social media platforms. I'm on YouTube. I don't have a vanity URL yet because not enough of you motherfuckers have subscribed. So we got YouTube. Just search for Mike Montone. Facebook.com/The Savage Crew, Twitter at Mike Montone, Instagram at Gary_Moiler. And I don't know if you could hear just now my toilet running in the background. That's what happens when you live in a studio apartment and you have to podcast from right next to your bathroom and you have a running toilet. So hopefully I can get enough of you to subscribe to these pages that I can start getting all sorts of sweet advertising deals and become an influencer on Instagram. And then I can afford a bigger apartment. You won't have to hear a toilet running in the background. You can just focus on the beautiful, massive, heaving bosoms that are on the screen right next to my head that I have presented to you as a gift for subscribing and following all of my pages here. So do that. Tell your friends that they can subscribe to this page, and they'll get to see just great, huge, big tits every time we go live. And if that's not an incentive, I don't know what is. All right, if you guys can't be lured in with big tits, then all is lost. I'm afraid. But enough of that. We should get into it. Let's do it. 1 second. As you can see, I'm stalling until I pull up my notes, and here we go. Looking for your father? He's in the bathroom jerking off to the Cash Me Outside girl. Knock on the door, interrupt his dirty thoughts, and let him know the big news. A fresh episode of the Savage Sacktap starts right now.
You're listening to the Savage Sacktap. It's not a podcast, it's not a half-cast, it's just a quick shot to the balls to help you finish off the week. We're cutting through the bullshit, filling your Friday with rage-fueled logic, and cracking a few jokes along the way. So grab a bag of frozen peas. There's a Savage Sacktap coming your way.
Smooth, lascivious, salacious, outrageous.
Yeah, baby, that's right. Let me see here. Just gotta check the old screen. Yes, only one of you watching tonight. Fantastic. We are really shattering records here at the Savage Sacktap. I am Mike Montone. This, of course, is the Savage Sacktap, and I don't have time to get too deep into it because the show was prepped before this happened. But DMX passed away. How about it? Darkman X, one of the great rappers of my childhood, is no longer with us, and rappers today are such fucking pussies. Like, they're all sad. I mean, we really we had it good with the DMXs and Dre's and Snoop. And I mean, I know it was horrible that they were all, shooting each other and what have you. Obviously that stuff's not good. Jay-Z was like a crack dealer and all that. The East Coast, West Coast wars, very, very deadly shootings outside Hot 97. But the rappers these days are just such fucking pussies. What are they all? Most of them, first of all, half of them they're like fucking white kids with tattoos on their face, and they're all doing Xanax and getting sad. I miss the days when rapping was about popping bottles and selling coke and fucking bitches. Rap music. Talking about how many AKs you have and the sounds that the AKs make, like chop chop. I got a chopper in the car. Let them know that you're a star. We gotta get back to that. But DMX will always hold a special place in my heart. When I was in 10th grade, of course, the DMX, the hit song, probably one of his poppier songs, "Party Up." Up in here, y'all go make me lose my mind. Up in here, the poet said. We recorded 15 minutes of silence onto a cassette, and we put it in a little boombox, and we put the boombox in the closet of the math classroom with the volume turned all the way up. And at the start, right before the teacher walked in, we pressed play, and we just sat there and waited. and in the middle of our math lesson, all of a sudden you just hear, "Woo! Y'all gonna make me lose my mind up in here." Well, I can't do it like DMX did, but you know how the song goes. It was great. Fucking mayhem ensued. Teacher had no idea what was going on. He's trying to find the goddamn thing. I think we got through half the song before he shut it off. It was fantastic. It was one of the great days of my 10th grade year. I will never forget it. That was one of those classes where we used to flip people's backpacks inside and try to chuck them out the window. Mr. Bader, our teacher, was the fucking man. We'd do shit like this, and he'd get furious. "You want to play game in my class? You play game?" And then, if he caught you, he'd bring you up and cut your hand off. No, I'm joking. He was Egyptian, not Saudi. And he was the fucking man. Probably one of the coolest teachers I ever had, and actually wound up having a sense of humor about having his class interrupted by DMX. So that is my DMX story. I know we all have one. Who doesn't have a DMX story? But may he rest in peace. He was the fucking man. I was just listening to his music before hopping on here. And before we move on to the rest of the episode, by the way, I think DMX. Did I leave the big, massive, heaving tits up on the screen? I did. For DMX, I think he would have appreciated that. To a white woman's massive bosom, and probably an appropriate memorial for DMX. So the laundromat is still closed. And I looked inside, and I'd previously thought that they were all done because everything was sparkly and clean, and I saw them tidying up and whatnot. But it appears that the wiring still has to get worked on, or maybe they gotta finish working on it. So it could be a while before this comes to a conclusion. But I think in using the logical part of my brain, I think they would want to get this done as quickly as possible, right? I mean, it's a small business. They probably operate on a pretty slim margin, and you gotta pay for all these repairs, and you're losing money every day you're closed. You still gotta pay rent and all that shit. I mean, chop, let's get this going. So I got half my wardrobe is still sequestered at the laundromat, and then I have this near overflowing laundry basket here because I had to order a new bag to carry the laundry to the laundromat in, and I will now have to go to a farther away laundromat, which is going to be a big pain in the ass. So that's that. Yeah, I wait with bated breath. I want to see. It's not even so much that I want the clothes back, which of course I do, but I'm just anxious for a conclusion to this fucking saga. It's like every day I go and I'm like, there's a gate. They got one of those rolly gates down in front of the fucking place. I don't know why. I don't know if people break into laundromats, but that would be a weird thing that really would be, it's like a retarded criminal. He just doesn't know any better. Who the fuck would break into a laundromat? But so I'm just waiting. One day I will walk past that fucking place and it will be open and we will have a conclusion. Whether my clothing still exists or not, or whether I'm gonna see fucking day laborers walking around the neighborhood in old Muhlenberg football and United States Marine Corps t-shirts. It has yet to be seen, but I will keep you abreast. And now we will get into the episode here. Just a moment. I have to update the old Chiron. We're gonna talk a little politics. We are gonna talk a little politics, although not specifically politics. This is not a political show, but we'll dip into the old honeypot a bit here. I don't know if you guys saw the latest from the Beltway, Washington, the District of Columbia, Hollywood for ugly people, Washington D.C. They had last week Hunter Biden, I guess, did CBS Sunday Morning interview, which I don't really give a shit about. I don't, the Hunter Biden thing, the Matt Gaetz thing. It's we're just fucking, I'm scandaled out. They can all kiss my ass. I don't give a fuck. But there was something, as a news consumer, I did have to at least check it out. And this did stick out to me. I'm gonna check this out. But Hunter, who was kicked out of the Navy Reserve after failing a drug test, grappled with substance abuse for years. And after Bo died of brain cancer in 2015, Hunter said he started binge drinking vodka so heavily that his father intervened. He came to me at my apartment one time, Hunter recalled, and this was when he was still in office as vice president, and so he kind of ditched his Secret Service, figured out a way to get over to the house, and I said, "What are you doing here?" He said, "Honey, what are you doing?" I said, "Dad, I'm fine." He said, "You're not." And this may seem everyone knows that Hunter Biden likes to have a good time, so it's no surprise that he was boozing. But who the fuck calls their grown adult son honey? Is that not bizarre to anyone? And I know you could draw the conclusion that it's Hunter, so it's Hunny, honey, but no, it's there in the print honey, like Winnie the Pooh eats out of the jar, what they make in the honeycomb hideout, bumblebees and such. You don't call your son honey. Like, this is a misprint. He should sue for libel and slander, whichever one is the printed one. I always forget. Your son is not honey, okay? You should probably almost call your daughter honey. It's just a weird thing. But your son, definitely not. Pal, bud, son, dude, man, kid, champ, sport, all fine. Not honey. You don't do that. I've seen this before. I was, not this specifically, but something very close. I was umpiring a Little League baseball game when I was younger, in middle school, high school, or whatever the fuck. And I witnessed a father kiss his son. His son was playing, or had just run down to first base, and his father was the first base coach. And I remember seeing him kiss his son on the head and call him sweetie. And even as a child, I remember seeing that and thinking to myself, wow, what a fag. Like, you just don't do it. And we're talking about Joe Biden here. This is Joe, the fucking president. I mean, he's the ruler, the leader of the free world. He's speaking to his grown adult son, and he's calling him honey. How do we trust this fucking guy to run the country? How does the guy who calls his son honey, how does he face down Putin, China, Iran, North Korea, the Islamic State? I mean, they're going to be this weakens us on the world stage. These people, these nefarious types, are going to be looking at us, and they are going to say, the President of the United States is a pussy who calls his son honey. We can't have this. And this isn't a Democrat-Republican thing. I'm not one of these party guys. This is, we can't be pussies on the world stage, and when you're calling your adult son honey, we look like fucking pussies. It's ridiculous. And Hunter put this out there. Like, what the fuck is he thinking? I mean, that's an intelligence failure. I mean, when we were in Iraq, they preached operational security, right? And all over the Marine Corps, whenever you go to a different country, whenever you're out on the road, whenever you're out on libo, operational security. Don't give the enemy a leg up. Don't let information slip. Like the fact that the president calls his grown son honey, that the Bidens are fucking pussies. You don't let that slip. You seriously have to wonder if Hunter Biden is a spy, and if this is part of, maybe the Chinese are into him for a shitload of cash, and he's going to get his dick cut off, or they're going to put him in one of these Uyghur fucking concentration camps that the Chinese have out there, if he doesn't do a little work for the Chinese. So, but he can't be blatant about it because he's in the public eye. So what do? They have him print this sort of innocuous sounding story, but he lets it slip that his father, the President of the United States, calls his son honey. And it weakens us on the world stage. Alright? I hope you guys don't think I'm ripping off Alex Jones, because I could see him coming up with this theory, right? It is a Chinese psyops campaign. Sorry, Alex Jones always dries out my esophagus. It's a Chinese psyops campaign. They're using Hunter to make America look weak on the world stage. A world leader can't call his grown son honey! Think about it. I think it makes sense. I'll let you chew on it over the long weekend. I don't know what the fuck that means. I'm fucking around. I've been drinking. It's been a while since I've had bourbon, and I took a couple whacks off the vape pen here, and so we're having a great time here at the Savage Sacktap, and remaining within the political realm, but moving on to a honey pot of a different kind. One of my favorite honey pots in the political diaspora. Our girl Marjorie Taylor Greene, who I believe when we last checked in on her, she was getting fucked silly by some tantric sex guru who also trains people in the art of sword fighting. So we might not agree with her politics or her stance on everything, but we do stand Marjorie Taylor Greene just a little bit here at the Savage Sacktap. And last week she put out a CrossFit video. She was doing like cleans, and she was doing some it looked like thrusters or overhead presses, and then she did some kipping pull-ups. And people on Twitter were mocking her kipping pull-up technique. And if you don't know what kipping is, it's these really over-the-top, like, thrusting, air-fucking pull-ups. And the people do them in CrossFit competitions or in, like, timed CrossFit workouts and shit. But in the rest of the fitness world, they're kind of frowned upon because they're not great for your shoulder. I mean, if you do a few of them a week, it's not a big deal, but they tend to do them for very high reps. And people on Twitter were just shitting on her technique, and it was one of those moments where you're like, this is what we've come to. This is the state of American political discourse, is people debating a sitting congresswoman's pull-up technique. Like, we have just been thrown completely off. Like, this, it really does lend credence to the whole stimulation idea, or the idea that maybe there is some fucking reptilian force just trying to keep our attention on anything but the fact that we are being run by a cabal of fucking lizard people. And people, like, this is great. Like, people were really getting into this on Twitter. We have Matt, who describes himself as a Jewish homo in stiletto heels. His pronouns are he, they. Says, love, COVID doesn't give a fuck if you do CrossFit. We have another one. COVID particles see this, leave the room terrified. We simply don't want to fuck with that, they say to themselves. The air around her muscles simply immune, a scientific miracle. Who is Alex Friedman, who claims to be a comedy writer. It would have been nice if that tweet fucking included a joke. Fucking hack. Picking up heavy stuff does not stop a virus from infecting you. The Marquis de Lafayette, who, unfortunately, not the real Marquis de Lafayette. It's just a fat guy who describes himself as a woke-topian. And a lot of people were referencing, like, athletes getting COVID, and The Rock got COVID. What you have to understand is, The Rock, it lives a fucking Hollywood schedule. He's zipping all over the fucking place. He's doing all sorts of shit. Like, people like that are incredibly run down, and they're exposed to a lot of environments where we can get coronavirus. Same thing with athletes. As good as physically impressive as athletes are, athletes often have very run-down immune systems because they're constantly working them. Like, think of the schedule an athlete has. You play a game, you hop on a plane, you play a game in another city, it's a day game after a night game, etc., etc. You're out there you're on top of each other during practice and in the locker room and what have you. So athletes are often in conditions that are ripe for coronavirus. But what these liberal pussies don't understand, and I'm saying liberal pussies because not because, again, I'm advocating for one political side or another, but in this case, this is the American left. These are the pussies who wanted the gyms shut down. They wanted you on your couch for a year, ordering Seamless, drinking wine, watching Netflix, doing all of those things that crammed inside with each other, all of those things that created the conditions that were ripe for the spread of coronavirus. What these liberal pussies don't understand is that coronavirus is a fat people killer, all right? But you're not allowed to say that obesity is a problem because in their eyes, obesity is healthy, right? Because as long as you love yourself, that's what counts, right? Not fucking lipid count or whatever. But fit, healthy people are not dying of COVID for the most part, unless there's, asthma or some other heart, congeniality, underlying condition, okay? Locking people inside increased transmission rates. Keeping people out of the gym made people more vulnerable. I've said this before. Last year at this time, I couldn't go to the park. Okay? Vitamin D fights fucking coronavirus. Like, this is what is sick and fucked up about this fucking country, is that everyone's like, oh, you gotta get vaccinated. Get vaccinated. Get vaccinated. Once everyone in this fucking country loves medication, this country does not like taking responsibility for its own well-being. Coronavirus came around and stores were cleared out. I didn't have a problem grocery shopping. I bought fucking meat and vegetables with no problem. You go to the freezer aisle, you fat fucks. Eggo waffles were selling out. Okay, you had to be bribed with Krispy Kreme to get a vaccination. Like, let's just say it again. This is every week now. We're a country of fat fucks, and we don't take responsibility for our physical well-being. I say as I pour bourbon down my gullet. Hypocrite, huh? But you know what I'm saying. I busted my ass in the gym this afternoon, motherfucker. But yeah, there are, and it's funny, as we get closer to the end, what I'm hearing about, because now people are double masking, of course, that became a thing over the winter, because I think like some asshole on Twitter just was like, or maybe in the White House press pool was like, well, if one mask is good, shouldn't we wear two? And then, of course, since everything that gets thrown out there into the sort of, what do you call it? Not the lexicon, the zeitgeist, is that it? Because everything that gets thrown out there must now be considered. People were like, oh yeah, we should be double masking. Like, I think de Blasio, I think they made it policy around City Hall that you had to double mask in New York City, like city buildings. Like, people are like, yeah, double fucking masking. And these people are now, as we get closer to the end, are saying that they're afraid to return to normal. They have what they call their COVID caves that they're afraid to leave. And what they dream of, and this is why so much about lockdown was so suspicious when you were like there were people who were loving it that just got into the fucking COVID lifestyle. And I think that the conditions that it created, specifically, I mean, obviously the conditions don't have, conditions can't have intent, but I think the conditions because I want to say the conditions preyed upon, but not, the conditions didn't prey upon. I think what happened was we went into lockdown and people got locked down and they immediately felt this sort of comfort where they were doing everything digitally, they were ordering shit off of Amazon, seamless, they were watching Netflix, they were working from home, their anxiety was getting jacked up through the roof, and then they were just hooking themselves up with this IV of like little pleasures, like fucking baking junk food and French toast and all that shit. Everyone was going crazy. A guy I know was actually in a commercial for, I think, Panda Express or some shit, where they were all on a Zoom call eating Chinese food. And it's fucked up how that really did mirror the everyday reality for so many people. Because if you don't have to fucking get up and commute in the morning, if you just have to get in, log into Zoom once in a while and say you're working from home, you can just get fucking wasted every night and eat junk food. And who gives a shit? You're rolling out of bed, you're farting up the fucking house. Who fucking cares? And people have gotten so used to this that now they don't want to go back. They're fucking terrified of going back to normal and engaging in human interaction. Those muscles have atrophied. It's fucking wild. Like, this is really fucking nuts. And you see how, and like, you can get all conspiracy theory about this, but you see how easy it is to just lull people into this soft fucking life. Like, it's not like, you don't want to sound like one of those fucking wackos who's like, yeah, soft, easy times make for soft people, hard times make for hard, like those guys. But it kind of does lend credence to it. Like, listen to these fucking pussies. When David Dudovitz ventured out to get his first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine last week, it was only the fourth time he had left his New York apartment since the pandemic began, and he wasn't going to take any chances. Before heading out, Dudovitz put on his N95 mask, his face shield, and cargo pants with multiple bottles of hand sanitizer in the pockets. When he got to the clinic, he waited outside until they called him in. Once inside, Dudovitz was so worried about catching the coronavirus from the other patients in the lobby that he went to the furthest corner from everyone, took out a plastic shopping bag, and put it over his head as extra protection. This fucking guy, first of all, these multiple bottles of hand sanitizer. How much fucking sanitizer? You've left the apartment 4 times. How much sanitizer do you need? What are you touching? And why not at that point just put on some fucking gloves? He put a bag over his head. Like, this is insane fucking behavior. This is insane behavior, but this guy would tell you that he's listening to the science. Is this what the science is driving us to do? Several people thought I was crazy, Dudowitz said. Really? Several people thought you were crazy. Everyone should have thought you were crazy. There should be consensus that anyone who sits in a fucking corner with a bag over their head and multiple bottles of hand sanitizer in their pockets, it's not up for debate anymore. You're a fucking lunatic. I was just that terrified. It was just that strong of an anxiety. I just felt like I needed an extra layer. I mean, this is insane behavior. Fucking CNN did this. And the Washington Post, the New York Times, MSNBC, they did this. Okay? If you're gonna blame Fox News for the guy dressed like a fucking Viking storming the Capitol, then we have to blame the other media outlets for shit like this. Okay? And this is like, my parents became fucking insane during lockdown. They were locked inside watching Anderson Cooper all fucking day. And people crying and a death tally on the bottom of the screen. The media profited off of these nut jobs sitting inside their homes all day, fattening themselves up, and just consuming COVID porn for fucking, they'd get on, the TV's on all day. You're on Zoom. You're in front of the fucking TV on your Slack and your Zoom. You're trading fucking stories about it. You're on social media getting each other riled up. You look outside. You see your neighbor in a MAGA hat walks out on his lawn without a mask on to throw some fucking throw some mulch down and take the garbage out, and you take his picture and you put it all over fucking social media. These people went fucking crazy. More than a year into the pandemic, people have become accustomed to the lives they've built and the routines they've created in isolation at home in their COVID caves. The long-term effects of this are going to be fascinating. Like, half the country, we've already seen, I think we're seeing microcosms of it, right? Miami spring break, we got brawls, we got people twerking and fucking in the streets, people, all sorts of fucking wild shit is going on down there. We've had like 3-4 mass shootings inside of a week. Well, I don't know if you guys watch. I always pay attention to like spousal murders and shit. We've had a number of very high-profile stories involving that. We had these 2 kids down in Texas. These 2, I think they were like Bangladeshi or Sri Lankan or some shit. Whacked their entire fucking family, and they quoted The Office in the suicide note. Everybody's been sitting inside watching The fucking Office for 12 months. These fucking lunatics go and blast their entire fucking family. I mean, the long-term shit from this is going to be fascinating. I have a feeling we're going to look back on the whole shutting everything down thing and fucking everyone's brain up, and we're going to be like, oh, that was a bad idea. But you're not allowed to say that because the science says to put a bag over your head and hide in the fucking corner with cargo pants full of hand sanitizer. That's the sane guy. He followed the fucking science. Amazing. Some guy goes for a fucking run outside with no mask on, and you treat him like he's a fucking Nazi. So they want to go do some fucking deadlifting. But the guy in the corner with the fucking bag over his head. Yeah, let's follow his example. Good fucking job. Just fucking brilliant. What do we got next? Let's move on to something a little more fun. Yes, this little thotty. Good times. Oh my. Bhad Bhabie, good girl. You know what? If there is one huge positive that has come from the lockdown, it is the explosion of women who have decided to say, fuck it, I am going to make money playing with my pussy on the internet. It is just an absolute boon time for the average American male. Of course, Bhad Bhabie, the Cash Me Outside girl, has an OnlyFans. She turned 18 the other day, and I guess she made $1 million inside of 6 hours because people love jacking off to her masturbation videos that much. And frankly, if straight dudes could make money jacking off on I think to do it, like, if you're a guy, you have to pretty much, like, you got to, like, a big gay thing, like, you got to, like, jack off with a bunch of, like, a bunch of fucking dudes. If straight dudes could just make money fucking whacking it on camera, I feel like we would all be doing it and then flipping the money and putting it into an index fund or something like that because we're fiscally savvy. But we can't. There's just there's very little market for that kind of thing. Unfortunately. Otherwise, I would own all sorts of fucking property, let me tell you. But $1 million inside of 6 hours is fucking impressive. And you know that the bulk of it had to have come from married suburban fathers in their 30s and 40s. Because that population, they really were the big losers in this whole coronavirus thing, right? Think of their life if you were like, 30, 35, 36-year-old guy, in some sort of management position, working in the city, you got a bunch of people under you, you're making decent cash, you were living pretty good. You're away from your family for 40-plus hours a week. You're probably committing a fair amount of sexual harassment. You're going to happy hours after work with the guys, and then you go home and you get to kind of, you pretend to be a father and you go to a little league game or two and that's that. Life was good. All of a sudden, offices get shut down, and the next thing you know, you're you're fucking locked inside indefinitely, with your family, and you're surrounded by those stupid fucking live, laugh, love pictures that your wife has put on the wall. I mean, it's like every suburban father, when this thing hit, became what's the fucking dude from Jack Nicholson in The Shining? What's his fucking name? Is it Danny? I've seen this a great many. I've seen that movie many a time. I'm a fucking idiot. Sorry. I've been drinking and smoking marijuana for quite some time, but you know what I mean. Every suburban father through lockdown must have wanted to take a fucking hatchet to his wife and kids, and just when things, we were, in month 13 of this bullshit, your wife's not fucking you because CNN has her too worried to get horny. The kids are always around. It's just, life fucking sucks. You can't go to sports games. It's winter. You couldn't even go outside. Just fucking trapped. And then all of a sudden, when things are at their worst, this tattooed covered bad girl comes along and she winks her asshole at you on the internet. And suddenly, you feel alive again. Birds are chirping. Flowers are blooming. It's springtime. Fucking Bhad Bhabie's on OnlyFans. You lock yourself in the bathroom. I mean, bathroom time must have gone through the fucking roof in households with men between the ages of 30 and 50 and young children in the home. I mean, that just must be. If you fit into that demo out there, give us a comment below. Have you been spending a lot of time in the bathroom pleasuring yourself to Bhad Bhabie's videos? Because that really does seem like the only way to get through this if you're one of these suckers who's out living in the suburbs married with kids. I don't know how you guys do it. I don't know how you did it. You guys you're strong. It was March, it was Women's Month or whatever the fuck it is. Where's Suburban Fathers Month after the year spent inside, locked in with this bullshit? Riddle me that, society. Better news for that crowd. Things, like I said, things finally looking up. The 30 to 50-year-old suburban father crowd. You guys might not need that OnlyFans subscription much longer, because the New York Post has been heralding the return of the dad bod. Wow. Now, let me tell you something. I don't subscribe to this notion, but if the Post is right, I'm a fit guy. I'm not a dad bod guy. I'm in good shape. But if the Post is saying it, who's to say? So the New York Post heralds the return of the dad bod. So now these middle-aged chumps who spent the last year locked inside with their annoying wife and the stupid signs all around, home is where the family is, fucking whatever other, is it wine o'clock yet, or I'm a wine mom, whatever stupid bullshit they put up on the fucking walls. My sister's old roommate had a book called, it was called Winos, Women in Need of Sanity, and it was just a book about fucking wines or whatever stupid fucking shit women like to brag about drinking a lot of wine. Go, congratulations. What a productive member of society you are, ma'am. But yeah. Think about it. You middle-aged chumps, after the year you've been through, you won't even need to go to the gym. You gotten a little fat, a little doughy over lockdown. You can keep feasting on burgers, drinking your IPAs. Panties are going to be dropping left and right. What a summer we have coming. The white boy summer. The dad bod summer. The Bhad Bhabie summer. She's going to be putting out fresh content. You're going to be whacking off to Bhad Bhabie in the bathroom with your fucking pudgy dad bod gut spilling out. Then you're going to go out and you're going to be reminded every time you see some Bhad Bhabie looking chick with tattoos all over her body and your gut spilling all over your board shorts, you remind yourself that it's the white boy summer, it's the bad boy summer, and these chicks are going to be fucking throwing themselves at you. These pot-bellied, balding accountants from, White Plains. You're going to be sitting on the couch in your man cave, watching the NBA Finals, drinking a beer, eating a pizza, and some tattoo-covered 19-year-old is going to have her hand down your pants. You're going to have a whole harem of them. Because they're going to know that you're an earner. That you've been working through this thing. You haven't been sipping wine and watching fucking Anderson Cooper and farting into your yoga pants like your wife has. Alright? Because you're the man of the house. And all will be right with the world. Or again, maybe not. Maybe this is a massive psyops campaign. Maybe this is the Chinese and the Russians. Maybe they're using the media to soften up the American male population and make us ripe for an invasion. You have to understand that the way these foreign countries work, they think 50 years ahead. It's entirely possible that they planted Bhad Bhabie on Dr. Phil as a teenager, waited a couple years until she was 18. OnlyFans could be a Chinese and Russian-run psyop. We don't know that. They make her virally popular with their bot farms. Then she turns 18. They build it up, they hype it up in advance. She gets on OnlyFans. She catches the attention of the American father, the male, the breadwinner, what's supposed to be the symbol of masculinity. They're putting stories out there that say the dad bod is back. You no longer have to be in top physical shape for a Bhad Bhabie to want to fuck you. You can have a gut. You can jack off to this chick making personalized videos for you. And then you can go out and you'll be told that women want to throw themselves at your slovenly, soft body. All of a sudden, the United States, that's the population, the male population that's supposed to defend this country if we're invaded. The media calling for gun control, take the guns away, get fat, give up your guns, stay home and jack off to teenagers. It's entirely possible, again, that we are living through a Chinese and Russian psyops campaign to soften us and make us ripe for invasion. It is possible. They're putting estrogen in the drinking water. They're turning us into pussies. We're ripe for the slaughter. Think about it. What's next? The lockdown. It's been great for Bhad Bhabie. She's getting whacked off to on OnlyFans. You know who it's been terrible for? A group near and dear to my heart. Ladies and gentlemen, lesbian community. Not faring well during the coronavirus lockdown. This is from NBC, I believe. The pandemic has exacerbated an already troubling trend for lesbian bars. Just 2 months into the coronavirus pandemic, in early May of last year, NBC News reported there were only 16 lesbian bars left across the U.S. And they say one more has since closed its doors. The Lipstick Lounge, Nashville's last lesbian bar, survived a number of tragedies over the past year. It shut down due to the pandemic. A tornado blew out its windows and front porch, and a bombing tore through downtown Nashville on Christmas Day. You absolutely hate to see it. At least 9 lesbian bars around the country lost fundraisers to stay afloat during the crisis. And, we would, of course, ask you, if you are looking for a place to make charitable donations, to donate to struggling lesbian bars, because there is nothing steamier than girl-on-girl action, and if we lose lesbian bars, we lose a source of girl-on-girl action, and as a man who masturbates to hot girl-on-girl action, I don't want to see that happen in my America. I would love to offer these ladies some advice from my entrepreneurial male brain, and we were talking about OnlyFans just a moment ago. And how about bathroom cams tied to an OnlyFans page. Now, obviously, some people are going to want to go to the bathroom at your establishment without being on camera. Fine. Set up a single stall, mark it very clearly. This is the OnlyFans stall, and women throughout the evening, those who would love to be on the front lines of the fight to save lesbian bars from this coronavirus, this scourge that has affected us these last 13 months. They can go in there, they can fondle each other, they can kiss tenderly and passionately, they can perform cunnilingus on each other, they can suck on each other's nipples. You could hang a strap on the door. Any number of erotic scenes could unfold in there. Because to reiterate my earlier point, we have these men stuck at home with their sexless wives, right? Think about it. If you're the kind of Karen who's at home mask shaming people on Facebook, you don't have the time to be sexual, to be horny, right? Your annoying kids are running around the house. Again, you've been sitting in the same pair of leggings or yoga pants for 3 weeks straight, just farting them up because of the junk food and wine you've been consuming. Your body getting softer, your marriage growing frailer by the moment. Your husband needs something to whack off to, and look, everyone wants to be able to virtue signal these days about helping COVID-affected businesses, especially those, it's 2021. We need to think carefully about LGBTQ business ownership, how they've been affected by the shutdowns. I think that the men of the world would be happy to pay a couple of dollars to support lesbian bar bathroom eroticism. So like I said, everyone knows women's bathrooms have furniture and all of that. Just divide it in two. One side is for people who legitimately need to go to the bathroom and work on their makeup, and the other side is for women who, again, want to take a brave stand and perform on OnlyFans for adoring thousands of men and save America's lesbian bars in the process. I think it's a $1 million idea. Leave a drawer full of strap-ons and double-enders, and women across the country can go ass to ass to save America's lesbian bars. And I'm more than willing to do my part. Off camera, you can't see it. I have a bar right here. As I mentioned earlier, I have a bathroom right there, a bed. I have a couch that greatly resembles the casting couch. If you ladies would like to perform on OnlyFans in my apartment, I should tell you I have a very anything goes attitude towards girl action. You can do pretty much anything except defecate on each other. And I mean, even that we could, if you brought a tarp or something and some sort of air freshener, we could probably make some sort of exception to the rule if it was all done with the thought of saving America's lesbian bars in mind. So let's collectively as a society, let's think of that. Let's think of creative and sexy ways that we can go about saving America's lesbian bars. And I will raise my glass to you gals. What's next? Just a moment. Let me pull this up. Oh, yes. Very important. Something we absolutely must address. Because it's coming. It is going to happen sooner than later, but I would rather it not. We are going to make contact with aliens, and this physicist Michio Kaku, says he believes alien life will be found within the century, but making contact is a terrible idea that could lead to a similar outcome to when Montezuma was defeated by Cortez. And let me tell you something. I agree. I think if there's alien life out there that's gotten into our solar system, they've observed us, And I have to think that they think that we're a bunch of fucking jabronis. Right? If you were observing life on Earth, you would indeed think we were... Looking at TikTok alone, you would think we were a bunch of fucking... complete fucking idiots. Dr. Kaku says, there are some colleagues of mine that believe we should reach out to them, he told The Guardian. I think that's a terrible idea. We all know what happened to Montezuma when he met Cortez in Mexico so many hundreds of years ago. Montezuma II, the last emperor of the Aztecs, was defeated by Spanish conquistador Hernan Cortes in 1520. Now, personally, I think that aliens out there would be friendly, but we can't gamble on it, Kaku added, so I think we will make contact, but we should do it very carefully. And again, I agree. I mean, think about it. Elon Musk is going to Mars, and we're talking about going to Mars because we've fucked our own planet up so badly that we need to find like a backup in case we fuck it up beyond repair. That means that aliens who come in our direction may also be looking for a habitable or a resource-rich place. We don't know. Dude, fucking sand from our beaches or like water or some fucking shit could be like the magic element that they need back on their planet to do who knows what the fuck. And they could come here and some idiots could welcome them with open arms, and all of a sudden, the next thing you know, fuck your summer at the Jersey Shore. You're a slave shoveling sand into buckets to be ferried back to a galaxy far, far away, and your wife is being sodomized in a tent by the sand slave alien master. Think about it. Yeah. What do you want to fuck? Because like, think if we caught a bunch of theirs, we're Americans, we're fucked up, and we have SeaWorld, we have zoos, we have all of that shit. We would absolutely put one on display. Like, it'd be like fucking King Kong, whatever the fuck. We would put it on display. They would probably do the same shit to us. Like, there was I believe an absolute chance that if aliens got us, they would take a bunch of us back up, and they would put us in sort of some big fucking human centipede, and they would be feeding whoever was in the front just burritos and fucking laxatives, and they would all be having a good laugh at it. Because we would do the same shit. Kaku says, another possibility is that they land on the White House lawn and announce their existence, he added. But I think that is unlikely, since we would be like forest animals to them. And think about how we treat forest animals. We destroy their habitat, we shoot arrows and bullets and shit at them. And again, I'm not saying I don't love logging and hunting, but we have to assume that the same would go down if the aliens get the jump on us. Kaku is hardly alone in having reservations about a close encounter. We don't know much about aliens, but we know about humans, renowned physicist Stephen Hawking said in 2018. If you look at history, contact between humans and less intelligent organisms, which again, in this situation, we're definitely the less intelligent motherfucker. We're fucking idiots. We're the dumbest. You ever see those fucking videos of like Russian people standing on top of skyscrapers, leaning off into the fucking air? We're fucking retarded. Contact between humans and less intelligent organisms have been disastrous from their point of view. Encounters between civilizations with advanced versus primitive technologies have gone badly for the less advanced. An alien civilization receiving a message from Earth could be billions of years ahead of human development, he added. If so, they will be vastly more powerful and may not see us any more valuable than we see bacteria. And how do we handle bacteria? What I was doing before, unbeknownst to the bacteria, I was spraying fucking Lysol on it and wiping it down. That's not, you don't even have a fucking warning. If you're bacteria to someone with an antibacterial spray, it's not like, it's not like the fucking movie where, you have days and you see the fucking, the laser in the sky or whatever the fuck, They actually say that when the dinosaurs got whacked by the asteroid, they would have seen a light in the sky coming closer and closer for days. That's fucking wild. You're just looking up, you're like, why is there a second fucking sun? And then all of a sudden, you're just... That fucking blows. But, yeah. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, again, not to harp, but you liberal fucking pussies want to take our guns away? We should be armed to the fucking teeth if these motherfuckers show up. I mean, roll the dice that, again, they're not standing over us with just a big fucking Lysol ready to spray. But look, Stephen Hawking is like one of the smartest people to ever exist. And he says that we better be ready to fucking rock when these motherfuckers show up. So, if you're not ready to defend yourself against an alien invasion, then what you're telling me is that you are putting your faith in the future of all mankind into Joe Biden, who again calls his son honey, Kamala Harris, who she's not very impressive. Can we be honest about that? I know it's I see a girl like me in charge. I mean, she's not impressive. She's just not. She's just a shitty fucking prosecutor who bent the fucking law and put people in jail for like no reason. And then what? It's them. They're gonna team up because they're not gonna work with like fucking Putin and China and shit. They're too stubborn for that. They're not gonna Iran could be like, hey, you guys didn't realize this, but we developed a nuclear weapon that could blast these cocksuckers out of the sky, and they won't fucking team up. They're gonna work with a bunch of the same pussy ass European countries who needed us to take care of fucking Germany. Are gonna be like, hey, America, do you want to fucking do something about this? It's gonna be a fucking bloodbath. So I got news for you. Stay fucking strapped. Because Joe Biden is not Bill Pullman, on whichever fucking side of me his fucking picture is. Alright? Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum, with his huge fucking cock, they're not coming to save our asses. My David. It's just not going to happen. Alright? So keep the fucking heat packed, as DMX would do. Honor him by tucking a strap and getting fucking ready for when the aliens come. Keep that thing fucking loaded and under your pillow. And in the meantime, get on OnlyFans. Jack off to some lesbians. Jack off to some Bhad Bhabie. Support capitalists. Support the future of lesbian bars. You know what? I'm going to bless you once more with some big ass. Where are they? Where are them titties at? 1 second. There they are. There are the big titties. I'm going to remind you. How do I put there? I'm pointing to them now. Honk honk. When you see the big titties on screen, and I'm looking at the screen because I like looking at these big titties. I mean, they are just heaving bosoms. I would love to just like plant my hog between those and pump away with a nice drop of warming lube upon my shaft. But that's not what I'm here to tell you about. What I'm here to tell you about is to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button. Whether you're watching this on YouTube, on Facebook, wherever you're watching it. Like, share, subscribe, follow. Pleasure yourself to these large breasts. Remember who brought you these big titties onto your screen. And follow and share and subscribe and do all of that shit. The podcast is available everywhere that you can find podcasts, on iTunes and Spotify and Stitcher and Spreaker and in Libsyn and all of that shit. You have no excuse, motherfuckers, not to check it out. We're giving you big titties. We're saving lesbians. Do your part. Follow it, like it, share it. And I will see you all next. Should I check the comments before I go? What's going on? Most dope 401. This fucking guy is all balls. Full stop. Well, I thank, if you're still watching and listening, Mr. Most Dope, thank you. And Dan Corey chiming in on Facebook. Good to hear from you, Senor Corey. I will catch all of you later. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I will click end the broadcast right now.